An ex-publican and quite the activist.
Good afternoon, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to echo a lot of what Stuart and the other speakers have said. And what is said here today is not meant to be taken as entertainment, but as knowledge and possible instructions. We have a singer in this country that had a lot of hits, and his name was John Farnham, and one of his songs was called Freedom. Anybody remember that? Give us a yell. Yeah. All right, now please, this is an interactive audience. All right, you're allowed to clap, you're allowed to cheer, get vocal, get it going, get some blood pumping. All right. John Farnham said, "I want something that's open and strong, from the mountains to the valleys, from the oceans to the alleys, from the highways to the rivers, one emotion to deliver, one heart, one way, one love, to share but not to chain. That's freedom." Are you here for freedom? Yeah. Well, this is World Freedom Day. And I, again, want to thank you all for being here. So what is freedom? It's the condition or right of being able or allowed to do and say and think whatever you want without being controlled or limited, to travel, to work, to party, to hold the hand and comfort a dying relative. Yeah. It is to participate in our customs, our Christmas, our Easter, our Anzac parades and our other religious ceremonies for other faiths. Freedom just doesn't cover white Australians. Freedom covers every man, woman and child walking upon God's green earth. Yeah. And we're here to protect that event. The message I want to bring to you today is basically this. You may not realise it, but hopefully in a few minutes you will. You actually have the power to be powerful. Now, in our Constitution, which I was going to bring, but I decided it was too heavy and cumbersome, the Constitution, in the preamble, it talks about the concepts of what the words in the Constitution actually mean. And when it comes to the word of, because the Constitution starts as whereas the people, and so this is the definition of what the people is, okay? And in case you weren't sure, that's you. All right, you the people. All righty. Now, it says in there, it has not been, nor I presume will it be denied, that somewhere there is a necessity, must be a supreme, absolute and uncontrollable authority. Now, that is the truth of a supreme leader, right? Justly to be tenured as the sovereign power. The power can't be sovereign unless it is supreme. For a subordinate sovereignty is no sovereign at all. One train of thought is that the sovereign power lies within the constitution of each of the states. The writer says that this opinion approaches near the truth but does not reach it, for the truth is. And this is the written word of the truth. Regardless of the BS those nodding heads in these buildings behind us in Parliament House want to tell you, regardless of what the policeman wants to tell you is his job, here lies the truth. For the truth is, the supreme, absolute and uncontrollable authority remains with the people. That's you. You have the absolute authority in this country. You override a lot of it. You just don't know how powerful you actually are. The media are the enemy. They will tell you you have no power, no authority, you must comply. I got news for them. Anyway, none of it's any good for them. Okay, now, every aspect of government in this nation is acting in treason since 1986. Give me a wave. How many of you know about the Australia Act? I don't want to wobble into that. If it's, yeah, look, the rest of you can look it up, all right? But the Australia Act took Australia out of being a proper Commonwealth nation into a corporation. Now, they can't, in section 51, I think it's subsection 22 of the Constitution, the government cannot mandate medical procedures. Do you understand that? It cannot mandate medical procedures. What are medical procedures? Face nappies, right? Vaccinations, lockdowns, they can't they literally can't subscribe to that. Nor can they deny your religious right of refusal of any medical procedure. They'll tell you can't get a medical exemption or a religious exemption. They haven't got the power to give it to you. It's yours to keep. It's yours to keep. You have the power. Now, the Constitution is a charter of government. It is a deed of trust between a sovereign community and the elected members. It is a deed of trust. And we could ask the judge, if you like, how powerful trust law is and the penalties for breaching trust law. Is anybody here today feeling that any aspect of your state or federal government has breached your trust? Yeah. Yeah. When was the last time you actually told a politician face to face? Can't find them. There they run and hide. Now, your trust has been broken. There can be no trust where there are lies, terrorism and treason. The letters patent of 1900 that formed the office of the Governor-General. This is just for you. You've got to go and think about this, and you've got to go and look it up, right? The office of the Governor-General was created by Queen Victoria so as that she had a representative here in Australia that could swear in a parliament on their behalf. So I wanted to know where the letters patent of 1900 was. So I wrote to the National Archives, right? I wrote to them. And they told me in that response that the document was kept in the office of the Governor-General until it was transferred into the archives in 1977. We have not had a lawful, constitutional Governor-General in this country since 1977. We have been ruled by treasonous people for decades, and you wonder how we get to this place. Because you keep rolling up and voting for them, one way or the other. You see...
You might get fined.
You might get fined, yeah, good luck with that. You see, we've been given a thing called the Queen of Australia. Who's heard of the Queen of Australia? If you go onto YouTube and look up Morrison's swearing in, the Governor-General is there, Hurley, right? Hurley. Hurley's there, and they swear an oath to Her Majesty the Queen of Australia. That watery tart does not exist. She's out of the Monty Python skit. You see, and the reason we know this, it's not just my theory. There is a very learned man, Sir Harry Talbot Gibbs. In his retirement, he wrote a letter to many of the judiciary, and in that letter he stated, "I therefore have come to the conclusion that the current legal and political system in use in Australia and its states and territories has no basis at law." No basis at law, and yet they rule. How do they do that? Because we give them the authority to do it. We've got to take it back.
Yes.
We've got to take it back. Stop thinking you're going to make a difference on social media. That game's done. All right, that game's done. It's rigged. They've got the algorithms in place, and we just go around and around and around the same people. You don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
I put out a little program called Word on the Street, and I email that out to people, and they can email it out to people and letterbox drop it and do all that sort of stuff. We're going old school, not new school, right? So as they don't even know what the hell we're talking about. Now it's time to get stuck into the media. The media are the arm that's driving this.
Yeah.
It's possible that the talking heads, the pretty faces that they've got fronting up on television, presenting the news and the current affairs and all that sort of stuff, they are propagandists, they are terrorists because they are putting terror into the heart of all sorts of people. They are lying because they're telling people that this injection is safe, and it's clearly not. Nicola Spiria is on television to roll up your sleeves. I'd like to roll her up in a rug. Right? Roll up your sleeves, it's quite safe. Nicola Spiria could not lie straight in bed. That's probably all she can do in bed. But anyway. Right, okay, just one more little thing. We are at war. A domestic mixed war is one which is made on one side by a public authority and another by mere private persons. Black Law Dictionary, 5th edition. War does not exist merely because of an armed attack by military forces or another nation. War can start through an actual declaration of war or other acts demonstrating such a position. War, the government and everybody associated with them has declared war on you, your way of life, your family's history, your children's future. We are at war. They come in all shapes and sizes, and you do not underestimate your enemy at any stage. I want to ask you one question. Because you have the power to be powerful, the Constitution of this country says you do. You have the absolute, total and supreme authority. So I've got to ask you one question before I leave here today. 100 years from now, when the history of this time is taught around the world to people that aren't yet alive, will anybody ever remember your name for what you did? Who will stand up to be remembered? Give me a shout.